If you watch or listen to these cleancasts on a regular basis, chances are you are a leader in your organization. Chances are also very good that someone in your company or even in your family will get some devastating news that will ruin their budget. Maybe they get the word that cancer has set in. Maybe it's some other dreaded disease that they need to fight. And you know, other people around you want to help as well. Other people in your organization want to help. And if so, we want to invite you to explore a new way to hold a fundraiser, namely Pink Zebra, the leader in providing great fragrances for homes and offices. By having Pink Zebra as your next fundraising project, you will get 40% of the sales made to help fund your project. The dollars really do add up very quickly. Sound interesting? If so, call Barbara at 573-434-1822 and she can discuss it with you, the opportunity, or she can mail you information on how you can have Pink Zebra fragrances help you raise money for the next fundraising project. Or you can go to www.pinkzebrahome.com/the Zebra Group for more information on this exciting opportunity. Pink Zebra, the name to remember for your next fundraising project. Welcome to our Cleancast. Thanks for joining us today. We're happy you're here. I've entitled this one, Do You Know Your Real Costs? Have you ever put in a proposal, not got a major account, when they called you and said, boy, your proposal was nice, but you came in second or you came in third, whatever, and then you somehow determine or they somehow tell you what the number was that they went with. And, you know, after everything was done, the price was it, you know. And they said, well, you went with so-and-so. Then you look at it and you say, either to them or to yourself, probably more, it's more important to say to yourself, I could have done it for that price. Could you? Could you have? Well, if you could have done that for that price, why didn't you quote it at that price? You know, many years ago, and this is not related to a cleaning contract, but it's an example that I can tell you. I had been with the same insurance company, same agency for my business for many years. And I had developed a friendship at the local Kiwanis meetings with another insurance agent. And he said, I really want to, you know, work with you on a proposal. So it'd been several years, so I said, okay, go ahead. He came in, and I've become pretty astute at buying insurance. He came in with same package at 30% less than what my current agent said. So when I called my current agent and said we're going to be switching January 1, he said, what for? Why? We've been doing this for years. I said, because I have similar product, I have same product, line by line, 30% less. I can match that. Then I really got angry. If you could match that all this time, why were you charging me this number? He became angry at me then, that I wasn't being faithful to him, that I wasn't, our relationship didn't mean anything. Well, 30% on the six-figure premium that I had was a lot of money. And, you know, he said he'd match it. But I didn't go with him. I went with the new agent. Because I felt like all this time he'd been getting to me. And so that's why when we do a proposal, we shouldn't be, you know, if you get a call from your customer and they say, well, I can get 30% less for the same identical specs, and you say, I can do it for that, then you need to be probably not cleaning that building anymore. But here's the real point of this. Do you really know your cost? Do you really know what numbers are as they relate to the pricing? For instance, do you really know what your labor is? Do you know that what an actual loaded labor hour costs you? What your investment in that is? If you're paying $10 an hour, do you know what your You know, do you know what all your taxes and insurances are so that you can say my average is 1207 or whatever? Do you know actually what your supplies would be on a proposal? Do you know what your overhead is? Actual overhead, not industry. Here's what I hear most from BSCs. Well, I looked and the industry average is 20% for overhead, or 25%, whatever they want to use, and supplies ought to be 3%, and labor ought to be 50%, and I'm just going to quote it that way, and then I'll be right there. Well, that's not the way the numbers are when you get into some larger buildings. You know, many contractors don't really know, you know, what their loaded hourly rate is. Do you know yours? Do you know what yours really is? Many contractors don't, so I applaud you if you do know. But I want to encourage you not to be just using standard industry averages, because your numbers are the one. You're not going to be, you can't eat the averages. You can only eat what's left on your numbers. So here's a couple of questions, and these are some numbers that make a difference. What's your workers' comp rate? Most people can quote me that. It's 3%, 12%. You know, I worked with people who've been anywhere from 2% to up in the 20s. Do you know what that is? Then the next question, do you know your mod factor? I would tell you 4 out of every 5 contractors that I work with don't know their mod factor. Their modification factor, which is that factor that they get either credit for or penalized for based on their safety. And we're going to do a safety clean cast here in a couple of weeks. So we'll talk about that then. Do you know your state unemployment rate? What do you pay for state unemployment? That varies every year as well. What are your real supply costs? In other words, let's say you know, we throw that number out, should be 2.5%, 2%, 3% of sales price. When you do a proposal, what in that proposal would either raise it or lower it so that you get an accurate number, so that you can be really accurate in your proposal? Now, here's one. What is your real overhead dollars? Do you know how to figure it? Do you really know what that number is? That can vary from 6% to 28%, depending on who you are and where you are and what you consider to be overhead. Again, don't use the national industry average, because that takes people from the West Coast to the East Coast. And you may be in Wyoming, or you may be in Oklahoma, or you may be in California, or you may be in Rhode Island, and those numbers don't pertain to your particular state and your particular company. So, you have to be very competitive today. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. It's very competitive out there today. And so it behooves you to make sure you know what your real, actual numbers are on each proposal that you put out there, so that you can give them the best deal that they can get. And so if they say, well, I want to lower the price, be happy to lower the price. What specific tasks can we reduce or eliminate from the proposal? You know, you never give up price without giving up some specs. That's a subject for another clean cast. But I want to challenge you today to know your real costs. Know what it really is, a loaded labor rate for an hour. Know what your real insurance costs are, your workers' comp, what your state unemployment is, federal unemployment, general liability. Know what the supply costs are really. And you'll get much better numbers, and you'll be much more competitive. Try it. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.